Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/inkdependence. It keeps this channel ad-free. Hello, folks. Welcome to Ink Dependence. I'm Mike, and this is Leonardo's Arancio Tarocco, which, as far as I can tell, translates to orange blood orange. This sample was sent to me for just for funsies by my friend Kimberly. So thank you very much, Kimberly, for sending this out. She uses these awesome like stickers that she then paints with the ink, and that really makes it easy to pick out of the rack when I'm looking for a particular color because they just have these giant dots. I might have to look into those. She also wraps the edge of these with parafilm, which is a sort of, I don't know, it's kind of like a wax tape, essentially. It's just wrap around and tear off, and it seals it up so that when you send this, she sent this all the way from California, no leaks. Really good stuff. All right, so inside here, you'll see it is a very orange. Orange blood orange, some might say. And so obviously this had to be the first of these Leonardos that I put on paper and, well, put in a pen and then on paper. Here it is on Rhodia's 80 grams per square meter paper. This is my usual testing paper, and I was using it in this one pen. I refilled this a couple of times, actually. This is my Shown Designs Peak pen, Peekaboo, with that little ghost there. This is a really good material, and I have enjoyed this a whole lot. You can see a little bit got on the threads there. It'll wipe right off. I'm not worried about that. It's real hard to stain Peak. But there we go. It's a fine nib, fine Yovo nib. Nothing too outlandish. And the flow in here is really good. I put it in this fine nib because I have some experience with Leonardo inks. This is the blue that I have. This is the only bottle, actually full bottle of Leonardo inks that I have. But they tend to run on the wet side, and so I put it in a finer nib just to give it a, a little bit of restraint. And it worked out really well. I like it a lot in this nib here. So 80 grams per square meter. Flow, medium. No hard starts, no floods, nothing crazy out of this fine nib, but pretty much what I expected, which is that I don't have any problem with this ever flowing, but it's not going wild either. Performance, very minor bleed on the 20-pound paper. This is the 20-pound paper, 30% recycled Staples copy paper that I usually use. This is kind of the worst stuff you'll find in your office copy room or what have you. And you can see a little bit of feathering there, especially around like the L and maybe the word Yovo there. Not a huge amount, not really going to bother me. And very, very minor bleed. Just a couple of spots here and there, which is pretty darn good. Even with a fine nib, this paper is pretty bad. And so it's the good kind of like worst case scenario for paper and ink like that. So pretty good on the office stuff, which is great. Qualities, good saturation, no real shading in this ink. As you can see, it's a pretty solid orange. Just it's an orange, man. That's what we got going on in here. And when you see the chromatography, it's an orange. So pretty good. I knew that right away that I was going to like this ink as long as it performed well and flowed well, and it totally does. It comes in these 40 ml bottles, which is just over an ounce, and it costs about $17.50 at the sites that I found it on. These are really nice bottles actually, and the opening is, I think, a pretty good one. I haven't had any problems filling any pens from these, so pretty good. It's a little bit on the expensive side, but comes from Italy. It's high quality ink. It says so right on the bottle. All right, so let's go ahead and do our water drop test, and we'll look at the chromatography and some other papers and things like that. You know the drill. All right, let's just flood this little part of the paper here with water. I'm not expecting a whole lot. You don't really get water resistant oranges very often. It's pretty darn rare, and I can see a lot of orange coming up. We'll just have to see if we can actually read this or not when we mop it up. And the answer is, yep, pretty much all came up. I would not say that this has any real water resistance at all. That is that is pretty much, yeah, that's, yeah, all gone pretty much. You're not going to be able to recover that very well. Don't get this one wet. Keep it away from your cups of coffee for sure. Here's what the chromatography ends up Here's what the chromatography ends up looking like, and that is it started down here, and it's pretty much just orange. You get some brighter bands of orange here, and a little bit of a pinkish stain left behind as it traveled up the sheet. A little chromatography strip here, but at the top, just solid orange. I didn't really get any separation. Just kind of, that's where it stopped, which is really interesting. So very orange, a little bit of pink. Oh, there you go. Orange. All right. Let's take a look at it on some other papers. I have it on 2 other papers here. This is my Tomoe River ink journal, which is almost out of pages. And there it is right there up at the top. It is, as you can see, a really nice bright orange, which is absolutely my jam. Very cool looking. Then on my Inky Fingers Currently Inked notebook, which I found out recently you can still get these at Van Ness Pens. Go check it out there. This is wheat straw paper. I really like these. I've got a stash of them. So there you go. It's just as good on here as it is on that Tomoe River. It just behaves itself really well on all kinds of paper. It even looks good on the bad Staples paper. And that is a nice, bright, very readable ink that's got a good level of saturation, all that jazz. Good stuff. All right, now let's look at some things that are fairly close to it or in the same vein. This is a Colodex card. You can find these all over the place, but I get them mostly from my friend Anna at Well Appointed Desk. You can find them there, and it looks great on this card. There's my little writing sample with my Yovo Fine. Looks good. All right, so I have this one here. This is Kala's Sweet Potato Balls, which is, I put it in here because it's kind of an interesting contrast. You get a very sort of, a much lighter color from Sweet Potato Balls sometimes than you do from the orange, blood orange there, but in the smear, like it's kind of similar, just a little bit duskier. I think it's an interesting look, not the same kind of ink, but if you're looking for something in this vein that's really weird, check out Sweet Potato Balls. Also, we have here Ackerman's number 16 Orange Bovin, which is every orange lover's, well, lots of orange lovers' favorite orange. You also got Diamine Pumpkin, which is one of my very favorite oranges. When people say, hey, Mike, what orange should I get? I say Diamine Pumpkin. Or Diamine Orange, which I think is kind of close, just maybe a bit brighter, and it doesn't have these darker tones that you get in Pumpkin. And then lastly, one that you can't get anymore because they don't make it, and I don't usually show these, but some people might remember Albert Einstein Relative Cadmium by Birmingham Pen Co. This was from when they were not bottling their own ink in-house, and so they don't have this color anymore, or this ink anyway, but good color. And actually, I didn't love the way this performed. I like this better. So pretty cool. This is in real life a bit yellower than the orange blood orange. Maybe it doesn't show up on camera as well, but it's a little bit yellower in person than this is. But if you're like this kind of like pure orange color, I think this is a good way to go because these are great oranges, and so is that one. All right, that's it. I will see y'all in the next video. Check out Leonardo inks wherever you find your Leonardo inks. Tell them I sent you. It won't get you anything, but you never know. It could be helpful to somebody. So there you go. Thanks very much. Peace out, everybody.